Welcome to another edition of Dave Smith Unleashed. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on the YouTube page, Dave Smith Unleashed Podcast. And what a great show we have for you today. And, of course, as always, thanks to MTS Transportations for all your freight, shipping, and trucking needs. But a new set of man card violations, everybody's favorite, an invention of Dave Smith. There's many who have copied. There's many who have tried to steal this idea. But the originator, you're listening to him right now on Dave Smith Unleashed of the man card violation back in the day. So we've got an all-new set of man card violations coming up here. Plus, it's Friday, our NFL lock of the week. 7-3 on the season against the spread. Red hot so far, making people money. 70% against the spread so far. And I think we have a good pick this week, but we will see. Okay, let's start out with the man card violations. I'm going to start out with somebody I like a lot. This is kind of difficult for me to give him one. Amon-Ra St. Brown, one of the best wide receivers in the National Football League with the Detroit Lions. And you know, as a matter of fact, a young, buff, strong, ripped, sexy, and handsome David Smith back in the day. I used to work out at Gold's Gym in Venice Beach, and who was one of the guys I used to work out with there? Well, a fellow by the name of John Brown, who was a professional bodybuilder. He was in the Lee Haney, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Lou Ferrigno era, back in the classic days of bodybuilding. And John Brown was a professional bodybuilder that I used to see working out in there all the time. Used to say hi to me. I wasn't really friends with him, but we were friendly with each other. And then as the years went by, he had 3 or 4 boys, 2 of whom now play in the National Football League, Amon-Ra St. Brown and Equanimeous St. Brown. And why Saint? Well, he thought the Saint made his name sound a little classier, so he had the name legally changed to St. Brown from Brown. And he's kind of a little LeVar Ballish in the way he trained his kids to be National Football League players, and he's done a great job with them. Kind of not the jackass LeVar is. And by the way, I was LeVar Ball's coach at Canoga Park High School back when he played basketball back in the day. Isn't that a small world? Dave Smith Unleashed brought to you by MTS Transportations. And mention the Dave Smith Unleashed podcast and get 20% off on your next shipment for all your shipping, trucking, and freight needs. There's only one business to call, and that's MTS Transportations at 800-640-6873. MTS Transportations, 800-640-6873. Anyway, Amon-Ra St. Brown, one of my favorite players in the league with the Detroit Lions, but, man card violation coming. He scored a touchdown last week in Washington against the Washington Redskins. And Donald Trump was at the game. And he got to the back of the end zone with the ball after scoring, and he did the Trump dance, the YMCA dance, and he kind of pointed at him in honor of the President of the United States. And then, of course, all the purple-haired fatties and the soy boy pussies, took offense that he would actually acknowledge the President of the United States sitting up there and criticize him. What he should have done was say, fuck all of you, fuck off. That's the President of the United States, and if I want to do the dance and salute him and honor him for being there, I'm going to do it. All of you can kick rocks. What am I going to apologize? Well, that's exactly what he did, unfortunately. And he put out a statement and said, I apologize to anybody whom I offended. Who would be offended by this? Outside, again, the purple-haired nose ring fatties, the Karens, or the soy boy man bun wearing pussies. Who cares if they're offended, Amon-Ra? Stand proud for what you did. Say, I'm not apologizing. All of you can kick rocks. Man card violation, unfortunately, for Amon-Ra St. Brown.
You've lost your man card.
Oh, here's another one. Tarek Skubal of the Detroit Tigers. He's the best starting pitcher in Major League Baseball, evidenced by his back-to-back Cy Young Award wins. He won last year, and he was just named this year. And the Detroit Tigers offered him a paltry, because his contract's coming up, a paltry 4 years and $80 million. Now, of course, $20 million a year, that's nothing to sneeze at. But in 2025, in Major League Baseball, when you're the top starting pitcher in the entire league and all of baseball, well, that is not anywhere near enough if you want to re-sign him. That tells me right there that the Tigers aren't interested in re-signing him, and Christopher Ilitch, the owner, is a cheapskate. But here come the cries already. The Dodgers are probably going to sign him. The Dodgers are ruining baseball. The Dodgers are just outspending everybody and buying championships, which, of course, is not true, as I've said many, many times. And I saw an interesting stat today. They listed the top players at every position in Major League Baseball salary-wise, and not one Dodger was on there. The 9 positions on the field salary-wise, the top salaried players, none of them are Dodgers. And look at the World Series. They pretty much won because of a lot of role players coming through and making big plays, low-paid guys. Anyway, and I looked up Christopher Ilitch. I can't afford to pay Tarik Skubal, and the Dodgers are ruining baseball, and they're outspending everybody. The owner of the Detroit Tigers, he's worth $7 billion. He's got plenty of money to compete. He's got plenty of money to pay the best starting pitcher in Major League Baseball. He just doesn't want to do it. He's a cheapskate. That's an insulting lowball offer there. And to blame economics and to blame the Dodgers for ruining baseball and the Yankees and the big power teams. Come on, you're worth $7 billion. We're not buying your bullshit. The fact is you're a cheapskate and you're not stepping up and you're not doing what it takes. You could very well afford to re-sign him. Stop with the nonsense and blaming everybody else for your own problems. Man card violation, Christopher Ilitch, over the Tarik Skubal situation.
You've lost your man card.
Oh, I saw something very disturbing on the internet last night for my third man card violation. There is something now on the market called the iPhone purse. Did you see this? Yeah, that's exactly right. It's a cloth little baggie. It looks like a sock. And you put the strap over your shoulder, and then the sock is on your back. And you slip the iPhone in there. It's a way to carry it around. So what's wrong with carrying it in your pocket? What's wrong with carrying it in your hand? What's wrong with carrying it in your purse if you're a woman? But they actually had pictures of men wearing this iPhone purse. The AKA the iPhone Pocket, that's what it's called. And they had pictures of men wearing this, walking around with a little sock on their back, with the strap over their shoulder. It's a freaking purse. You might as well wear a sign that says, I'm still a virgin, if you're a guy carrying this thing around. Cloth with straps you wear behind your back. Again, this is the man bun wearing, woke pussy crowd. This is who is wearing this. Oh, my God. Man card violation. Any man thinking about buying the AKA iPhone Pocket and actually walking around the streets with, I can just see the man bun crowd now. I can just see the wokesters now, with their scraggly beards and the unkempt hair, and they haven't bathed for a month. And carrying these iPhone purses on their backs. I can see it now. Man card violation for any man even thinking about getting one of these.
You've lost your man card.
Well, let's go to the final one. The Brian Kelly situation at Louisiana State University. As we all know, he was fired a week or two ago, and they owe him $54 million. Now, they were working on a buyout. They were working on a settlement, and LSU offered him take it or leave it $25 million. And rightfully so, he told them to kiss his ass, which is the same thing I would have done. 25. You owe me 54. Why would I take 25? You're going to have to do a lot better than that. So then they start negotiating again. And then the LSU hierarchy came up with a new plan. Well, we're going to come up with a way to fire him with cause. That means that he violated his contract. Kind of like what Al Davis did with Alzheimer. Al Davis did with Mike Shanahan. Fired him with cause, and with Lane Kiffin. With cause. Now, all right, LSU, you'd better damn well have some evidence about some shenanigans going on with Brian Kelly. What was he sleeping with the cheerleaders? Was he recruiting violations? Was he busted a couple of times for a 502? I mean, did he embarrass the university? Nothing. And I did a lot of research on this, and he's always been a very, very good coach at Central Michigan, at Cincinnati, at Notre Dame. He won big. And, 2 years ago, he had a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback in Jaden Daniels, and they had a great year. He just wasn't the right fit. He's not an SEC guy. And I think we knew that. Remember when he was hired there a few years ago? And he went to an LSU basketball game, and at halftime, he went to center court with a microphone, and they introduced him to the crowd. And all of a sudden, this guy from New England, who spent his entire career coaching in the Midwest, all of a sudden, he had a Southern drawl. I mean, it was the most embarrassing, over-the-top, patronizing thing you've ever heard. I think this got him off on a bad foot. Well, thank y'all for inviting me here. Thank y'all. and you've been so good. And then he said, my family. Family. Thank you all for welcoming here, and we appreciate it, me and my family. But the man card violation comes with LSU trying to intimidate and bully Brian Kelly into taking less than what he's owed, the $54 million, and now they're trying to come up with some bullshit with cause. What is he, Ed Ogeron, sleeping with cheerleaders and running around and chasing tail and getting a divorce and getting drunk every night and partying instead of coaching the football team? I never read anything about that. I think this is a desperate attempt to get out of that 54. And you know what, LSU? He's going to sue you, and you're going to wind up paying more than that 54 for attempting this nonsense. So, man card violation for LSU for trying to get out of paying a man what he's contractually obligated to, and trying to come up with some phony with cause. Now, if there is something, then we'll report on it. As of now, I've looked everywhere. There doesn't seem to be any character issues outside of Kelly kind of being an asshole and people not liking him.
You've lost your man card.
So let's go over the man card violations once again before we get to the log. Amon-Ra St. Brown, the Christopher Ilitch owned Detroit Tigers, the iPhone purse, and the Brian Kelly situation. All right, let's get to the NFL lock of the week. You know, there's some games I like. I kind of like the Ravens -7.5 against Cleveland, but I don't know. They're playing back-to-back road games here. I don't know if I want to lay 7 at a hook, and the Browns are a pretty good defensive team, and they've kept some games close here. I kind of like Seattle, +3.5 against the Rams, but I just don't want to go against the Rams as well. I know they've both been playing great. I don't think it's a good idea to play against the Rams at this point as well as they've been playing. Okay, so here's the game we're going to go with. You got Dallas Cowboys -3 on Monday Night Football at the Las Vegas Raiders. So we'll buy the half point and get it to 2.5. You know, the Cowboys are coming off a bye week, which is good. They signed 3 new players defensively. They made 3 trades at the deadline to get them help with their awful defense. They've got a great offense with Dak Prescott and company. So they're going to score some points. The Raiders are awful, and this is an absolute must win. You know, the Cowboys are still in the race to make the playoffs. So at 3-5-1, they're still very much alive for a playoff slot, and the Raiders are not. So I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys minus the 2.5 against the Raiders on Monday Night Football. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Dave Smith Unleashed, and we will talk to you next time on Dave Smith Unleashed.